respect. Having introduced the various delegations in attendance, it's now my honor and the privilege to invite Honorable Boyce, Speaker of KwaZulu-Natal, to give some welcome remarks.
Thank you so much, Reverend Director. Let me take this opportunity firstly to greet the EXCO chairperson for Africa region, the Honorable Botani Hara, the Speaker of Malawi, the Deputy Speaker of the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature, Honorable Themba Mthembu, the co-host at the back, the Venase, the entire EXCO that is with us, all speakers, of course, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly of the Republic of South Africa representing us, and all speakers that are available, and delegates, greetings to all of you. Honorable Speaker Botani Hara and your EXCO, we take great pleasure in welcoming you to the city of eThekwini, which is the only metro and the economic hub of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, it is our economic capital, not the capital city. Pietermaritzburg remains our capital city. We were particularly, myself and the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Mthembu, we were particularly excited following the conference in Sierra Leone when we were requested to host the EXCO, and we thought that we would really come back and convince the leadership, the collective of the legislature, to actually have you coming here. We were excited when it was agreed last year in June that you will be here. But we became more excited when we understood that you will be visiting us in the month of April, which is one of the important months in the calendar of South Africa, because it is a month that is referred to the Freedom Month, as we usually remember and celebrate the democratic breakthrough of the 1994 in the Republic of South Africa, when the actual republic as it is was founded, based in the democratic principles as espoused and led by the president, then president of the African National Congress, President Nelson Mandela. The same month of April is significant because most of the heroes of the struggle of South Africa had to pass in the month of April. We also remember in the month that you are here, especially on the day that you arrived, it's a day that we remember the late Winnie Madikizela Mandela, one of the stalwarts of the struggle of women in the participation of politics, especially also in the parliamentarian sector, because in the 1994 parliament, he was amongst those that were leading in the mobilization of participation, broadly participation by women in the politics of the country. Also the likes of Chris Hani, the likes of Oliver Tambo, the longest serving president of the governing party of South Africa. We know that as we move towards the 27th of April, we will be remembering those who have passed. But we know that we have a task as the legislators that are here to recommit ourselves, having learned to your presence here, to the ideals of the South African Constitution, the Commonwealth Charter, as well as the supremacy of the universal human rights for all of us to have a basis of development for the people of KwaZulu-Natal that we serve, but the people of the Republic of South Africa and the Commonwealth. We know that your visit here is not remarkable for us as a province, but it must be remarkable for the people that we lead and the people on whose mandate we must serve. The lessons that we will get will propel us to continue striving through our public participation work in ensuring that we have a truly inclusive, non-discriminative environment in the legislature of KwaZulu-Natal, where we will have no voice that will be too low to be heard, and we will understand diversity in the spirit of the Rainbow Nation that our founding president Mandela dreamt of. Of course, honorable delegates, whilst April is such a memorable month politically. But for us as the people of KwaZulu-Natal and the city of eThekwini, it is a month that we have over the years been facing inclement weather conditions. So for this year, it's going to be the first year following the 2022 April floods that wiped households, hundreds of households in the city of eThekwini and in other districts in this province, that killed more than 350 people in the flood that took almost a week. But of those people that were wiped dead on that week of April 2022, we know that more than 50 are still unaccounted for. So for many families that we lead and our legislators on their behalf, that the same pain that we feel is the pain that has been felt by the people of Mozambique and also recently by the people of Malawi. When we are sitting here, we have our hopes pinned on the EXCO that we will forge together and come with sustainable climate change solutions that will save our continent, so that the development of our continent is not changed in terms of the course, but is propelled to move forward. And we of you who are Muslims are still continuing your prayer and fasting until the 21st of April. We want to say to you, as you pray, have those that have been affected by the inclement weather that I mentioned earlier. But also remember that we know that prior to the commencement of your prayers, we know that there was those donations and givings that were done of goodwill. And I know that they have touched and changed many lives. To those of you that are Christians, as you go to the Easter weekend, for us, it starts tomorrow, the long weekend of Easter. Do pray for more blessings, but above all, pray for unity, prosperity, and development of Africa at all material times. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter from which religious side or stand of belief you come from. What matters is that we need a united, prosperous, and developing Africa. For us, development of Africa is not an option. It is a mission, because those who came before us, they fought, starting with President Nkrumah. They fought for liberation of Africa. We are sitting here as democratically elected parliamentarians because generations before us did that. It is now our chance to do that. We further invite you, before you leave, to join us later tonight to have a small dinner that will be hosted by the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, who could have loved to join you, but who says that because of other businesses, he would come in the evening to say hello and say to the EXCO of Africa Region, to CPA, thank you for choosing KwaZulu-Natal, but also thank you for choosing to come to South Africa. When you've come to South Africa, you've come to KwaZulu-Natal, you've come to eThekwini, woza eDurban, ubese ubiza abanye beze eDurban. Do enjoy and wait for that cultural evening that we will be having later today. Welcome to Durban. Go back home, tell your family, tell your colleagues, woza Durban.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for that warm welcome. Before I invite the next speaker, I wish to introduce a delegation from CPA Uganda branch, led by Honorable Enos Asimwe. It was inadvertent on my side, really. So, Honorable. It's now my singular honor and privilege to really invite the co-hosts for this 84th EXCOM, Honorable Lechesa Senoli, to give his remarks.
Good morning, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely honored as a Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly to offer this deputy speech, which will be very brief because it is a deputy speech. I wish to endorse the warm welcome from Speaker Boyce here in the city of the banana. As one of my other homes from my home, we always look forward to visitors. Good things happen when visitors are around, and mothers are responsible for that generally. You know that. They pull out things they've never shown you before. You see for the first time because visitors are present. This is why we always look forward to visitors. But we are a body of parliamentarians. We act together in solidarity because we think the problems we are confronting, many of them have common roots and therefore require a multilateral approach so that, as they say, two heads are better than one. We can overcome these problems. I wish to welcome especially those who are new, who have had elections in the previous period and are now coming here for the first time, others elected in absentia. Thank you very much for being present with us. We also wish to thank those veterans who've been around long enough and have been retired through elections. Welcome, we benefit a lot from your experiences. And so then it's in the nature of the CPA Africa region, and CPA broadly speaking, that because of turnover, we get infused with new ideas. Many of us, for example, in South Africa, you'll hear we have already almost started the election for next year. So that's also going to have effect in who's going to come back and so on. So this might be my farewell speech to you. Because I'm retiring. That's the reason I would not be coming back. But otherwise, others who might be following in my footsteps might be newer, more energetic, and so on. But welcome. We are very pleased that you are able to, the speaker in KZN and the team that she leads were able to be gracious enough to host all of us here today. Enjoy and have fun in Durban. It's a great city. eThekwini is like no other city in the world. There's no question about it. We do realize some of you may have brought your families. If you haven't, we know you're going to come back. Do come back. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker and our regional representative for Southern Africa. Now it's my honor and the privilege to invite Honorable Sei K. Mensah Bonsu to deliver his remarks in his capacity as the Vice Chair of the Executive Committee of the CPA International. Honorable.
Chairperson of the Executive Committee of CPA Africa Region, the host speaker, the treasurer of the Executive Committee of CPA, the senior regional representative, Executive Committee members of CPA Africa Region. Dear colleagues, all other protocols should be deemed to be duly observed. It is wonderful to see all of us assemble in Durban for the 84th CP Africa Region Executive Committee meeting after the very eventful CPC in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. In the post-COVID-19 environment, countries have been struggling to weather the storms of supply chain disruptions. And then from nowhere, the world has to confront the contagion effects of the Russian-Ukrainian imbroglio. That has kept Parliament busy in striving to partner the executive to take countries out of the woods. In such circumstances, parliaments need to be extra vigilant to ensure that the peoples that they serve have value for money. The axiom is that the executive is voted to solve problems, to improve the living standards and conditions of the people, and develop countries in order for the citizens to experience the dividends of democratic governance. Unfortunately, in such situations, some unscrupulous persons tend to take advantage, and that is where the oversight responsibility of Parliament should be emphasized. As our brothers and sisters from Nigeria used to say, sometimes in such circumstances, the more you see, the less you find. In the midst of these challenges, it has become necessary for the Executive Committee of the Africa Region CPA to meet to deliberate on very important matters, including, but not limited to, 1, the vexed and ever-present issue regarding the status of CPA, the issue in respect of the possible relocation of the headquarters from London in the event of failure to advance the cause of the status matter. 3, the discussion of benchmarks that should guide all of us in the choice of a host country and by extension, a host city. Climate change considerations, and above all, equity and equality matters with respect to inclusivity for women. These are matters that the Executive Committee of CPA International shall be dealing with in Gibraltar. It is my wish that the Executive Committee of the CPA Africa region shall bring critical thinking to bear on these matters in order for the CPA to advance the mission and vision of the association. On this note, may I, on behalf of the Chairman, the Honorable Ian Grenier, the Secretary General Steve Twigg, and his deputy, and on my own part, wish all of us successful deliberations, and I pray that all eligible participants shall make space and time to be at Gibraltar in 10 days' time. I thank you once again for the space granted.
Thank you very much, Honorable the Vice Chair of CPA Executive Committee International. It's now my singular honor and a privilege to invite the Right Honorable Catherine Gotan-Hara, Chairperson of CPA Executive Committee and the Speaker of Parliament of Malawi, to really deliver her address. Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Boyens MP, Speaker of KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature, Honorable Bonsu, EXCO Vice Chair International, Honorable Madam Tombi, our Treasurer General, Honorable Dr. Makari Mulu, Senior Regional Representative, Africa Region, Honorable Kayanga Baroda, CWP Vice Chairperson, distinguished delegates, regional secretariat officials, staff of Parliament accompanying officials and spouses, members of the press, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Allow me, on behalf of the CPA Africa region, to thank most sincerely my colleague, Honorable Notimbenge Boys for the Speaker of KwaZulu-Natal Province Legislature for graciously agreeing to host the 84th Executive Committee meeting. I also commend her for the warm reception and generous hospitality extended to us since we arrived in this beautiful city of Durban. By the way, my mother was born here, so I'm actually going to claim my constituency here as well. In the same vein, I thank you, Madam Speaker, for the excellent facilities put out at our disposal. And you were telling us how important this month of April is to the history of South Africa. Baba Mandela, Madam Winnie Mandela, I remember, I think it was in 2012, when we had a meeting. She was gracing a meeting here in Durban, and the meeting actually was hosting women from all of Africa, and all she was telling us was encouraging us as women to forge ahead and never to look back, but to always remember that it is our time, it is our space. So I also remember her because it was here where we had that very big meeting which invited, I think it was almost 4,000 women across Africa. So it was a big meeting that was called by the Madam Mandela. So indeed, it is a very beautiful month to remember people who have influenced so many women across the continent. And it's also indeed a very good month, April. Today is my president's birthday, and this month is also going to be my birthday. So indeed, it is a very important month. And I know Baba Zuma's also birthday is this month. So I think President Joyce Banda's birthday is also this month. So I think it is a very, very important month to always remember. Likewise, Honorable, I am grateful for all of you distinguished delegates for finding time out of your busy schedule to travel here and take part in an important meeting in need of, and indeed your presence is clear illustration of the commitment you attach to the work and objectives of CPA Africa Region. Last but not least, I commend the Regional Secretariat for the excellent preparation to ensure the success of this meeting, and also to thank the co-host, Deputy Speaker, for the co-hosting. I'm sure the Speaker was definitely in contact with the Parliament to ask for guidance and advice. Thank you very much for co-hosting this. When you say that, I'm sure some of you have come with your spouses, or if you've not, you bring them next time. I was worried. I thought you were going to say that you shall provide the spouses. So I was getting very worried. But after you said, no, next time you come, I felt comforted, because I was worried that you're going to say, since you've not come with your spouses, we shall provide. That's what we are. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here for the 84th CPA Africa Region Executive Committee meeting. It is my belief that during this meeting, we'll have a chance to receive reports from various subcommittees on issues and activities conducted across the region since our last executive meeting held in June 2022 in Freetown, Sierra Leone. The reports will enable us to identify challenges and come up with possible practical solutions on the way forward. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the 84th Executive Committee is taking place at a critical moment in the history of CPA Africa Region and CPA International in general. The 65th CPA held in Canada, August 2022, resolved to ensure that the change of legal status of the CPA is realized come the 66th CPC to be held in September or October 2023. As a region that is at the forefront of this agenda, we took a number of measures to this effect. Firstly, we constituted an ad hoc committee to come up with benchmarks for hosting the CPA headquarters. Secondly, I circulated a letter to all branches in the region requesting them to volunteer to host the CPA headquarters. Thirdly, we shared our benchmarks with CPA headquarters with a view of harmonizing with those of the CPA headquarters. And lastly, I attempted to request on an appointment with His Excellency President Paul Kagame of Rwanda during the 2022 CHOGM and at the 145th IPU Assembly held in Kigali, October 2022. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the 84th Executive Committee meeting offers yet another auspicious opportunity for us to take stock of the progress we've made as a region in this endeavor. It is worth noting that the 84th Executive Committee meeting is taking place ahead of the mid-year Executive Committee meeting international to be held in Gibraltar, in which our 6 regional representatives will attend. I believe that the mid-year Executive Committee meeting will further concretize our resolve and put a clear roadmap as we prepare for the 66th CPC in Accra, Ghana in October 2023. Our region is fortunate to be represented at the top leadership of the CPA International. As you are aware, Honorable Bonsu was elected Vice Chair of the CPA at the 65th CPC in Canada in August 2022. Besides, Honorable Zainab Gimba was elected as the CWP Chair. I myself is a member of the CPA Working Group on Governance constituted to look into the issue of legal status. This unique advantage, coupled with the support and cooperation of other regions, gives us a privilege to push the issues of the legal status to this logical conclusion. I would like to say and congratulate this region. We were probably the only region that was so proactive in terms of coming up with the benchmarks and without jeopardizing what will be discussed later. Most of the benchmarks that we developed in Africa were not very far away from what the international group actually developed. So meaning that we as Africa can lead in these things. This is just an example that where there's a will, there's a way. And this goes to the way we're doing business as Africa, that we need to start leading. We have what it takes to drive the world, but we have always sat back as passengers. And that's what is causing problems to our regions, to our countries, because most times we're sitting there as passengers. We don't want to be the drivers. I think it's about time that we become the drivers. Let's pick the others as the passengers. It is up to us to decide when we shall be the drivers. Nobody is going to take us to teach us how to drive. It is ourselves, the will in us. We are tired of being drivers or indeed being an assistant. For those that have trucks, you find that most of the times you have a driver and an assistant. A very clever assistant, after some time, ends up being a truck driver. But if you're not smart, you'll always be an assistant. It's about time that we stop being assistants as Africa. Let us be the drivers, because it is time. We have what it takes. We have the resources. We have the brains. Let us drive. To conclude, I wish to reiterate my sincere thanks to KwaZulu-Natal Province Legislature and the people of this beautiful province for hosting the 84th Executive Meeting and the very wonderful welcome accorded to us. I thank you for your kind attention, Siyabonga.
Daniel, I'm afraid to have to use the privilege of being a presiding officer. Only I can do this after the speaker has already spoken. The speaker doesn't acknowledge that I'm one official photographer she had when she was in Cape Town the other day with the president. So I take offense, Madam Chair. Yes, you're out of order. But I also wanted to say the elephant in the room. April 27th is our 29th birthday as a country, a republic. Wish us happy birthday in advance. And so, in a sense, that's the big one for us. Honorable boys, I realized this was in your, what do you call it? The blind spot. but it's the most significant one. Thank you very much for all of you for assisting us to get to that birthday anyway. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that useful additional information. And thank you, the Right Honorable Chair of EXCOM, for your speech, really, which has set the tone for discussions that will follow after this interlude. Now, I have the pleasure to request or to invite Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu, MP, Senior Regional Representative, to move a vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. The Right Honorable Catherine R. MP, Chairperson of the Executive Committee and Speaker of the National Assembly of Malawi, Honorable Notobeko Boyce, MP, Speaker of KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature, Honorable Litombi Megwe, MP, Treasurer of CPA, Africa Region, and Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, the Honorable Kayanga Baronda Watogola, MP, CWP Vice Chairperson, distinguished delegates, regional secretariat officials, staff of parliament, accompanying officials and spouses, members of the press, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. I have a very simple duty, a duty of moving a vote of thanks. And I want to start, first and foremost, I want to thank the Almighty God for the gift of life and this beautiful day. On behalf of all the district delegates, and indeed on my own behalf, I wish to thank Honorable Notobeko Boyce, Speaker of the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature, for hosting the 84th Executive Committee meeting. The warm reception and generous hospitality already extended to us by the chairperson cannot be overemphasized. Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the hospitality. Where I come from, we say Asante Sana. Delegates, can you join me in saying Asante Sana to the Speaker? Asante Sana. Asante Sana, Madam Speaker. I also wish to extend my sincere thanks to the Chairperson of the Executive Committee, the Right Honorable Catherine Gotan Hara, MP, for her excellent leadership in ensuring that this meeting is a success. Further, Madam Chairperson, I wish to extend my thanks to the distinguished delegates for attending this important meeting. I can see that the delegates are ready and eager to proceed with the meeting. So to our chairperson, can we also say Asante Sana? Asante Sana, our chairperson. And to the delegates, can you say to yourselves, Asante Sana? Asante Sana, delegates. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the chairperson has highlighted a number of important issues to be discussed in this meeting. I wish to reiterate our call for us to ensure that we deliberate on these issues conclusively. It is my hope and believe that we are going to deal with all these issues conclusively by the end of the day. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by calling upon all my fellow delegates to enjoy the warm hospitality extended to us while we are still here. I do believe that delegates will be free to do a bit of investment. We can do economic investment here, political investment, but please don't forget to do social investments. So as we go back, make sure that we leave behind the dollars you brought with us in these profits. As we travel back to our various destinations tomorrow, I would like to wish you all safe and pleasant journey. God bless us all. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Sayaboga Kakulu. Asante sana. God bless you and have a good day.
Asante sana, Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu, MP, Senior Regional Representative. We are nearing an end to this ceremony, short ceremony, and the next segment on the program is really photographs, official photographs. And photographs will be taken right here in this room. I request the high table to remain seated. And in the meantime, I wish to invite the following groups in the following order to line up behind the high table for really the official photographs. The first, office bearers and the regional representatives. May you please come forward, stand behind the high table. Honorable Nkata, you are one of them. Office bearers, the vice chair of EXCO, you belong to that group. And in the meantime, I invite, as they are taking photo, I invite delegates, those that are introduced from each branch, to also start coming forward, because you will be joining the photo session here. Honorable Simwe, I think you should be stretching here. When this section she's coming. That one is the most trusted. Also, her absence would really render.
Okay, we are here. Yes.